Tyler England.
Oh, what up?
What's up?
I'm here to learn.
All right. Let's see here. See if I can share my screen. Wow. All right. Let's see here. Can you see your first 30 days? You see my presentation, Tyler? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started, folks. First of all, good morning. Thank you for joining part of our mastermind series. This morning, we're going to talk about, well, we're going to focus today's training on specifically new agents, but I feel like this training can really apply to anyone that is new or a veteran agent, because really success comes from getting back to the basics and being consistent with the basics. So hopefully, depending on who you are, whether you're new or an existing agent, you can get a nugget out of this and actually be able to get some insight on things that you can do to try to grow your business. So without further ado, actually, I'm going to try to drag this over here so I'm not looking on two different screens if I can. Let's see if this works. Nope. But I can kind of drag you guys over here. And then I can maybe relocate my camera. All right. No worries. All right, let's get started. So anyways, I'm Edric. A little bit about me, been in real estate for almost 18 years. I've been a resident of Fayetteville for almost 20 years. So, and that's where predominantly I've had my career at. So been with a few independents. I've owned an independent. I've owned a RE/MAX franchise. I've been a RE/MAX agent. I try to invest in real estate currently, and boy, is that fun. That's a whole nother thing. So I really enjoy real estate. It's a lot of fun for me. A few little homekeeping tips here. This is interactive, so if you guys have any questions or any input, feel free to raise your little virtual hand or just unmute. We have a small group today, so I want this to be an interactive session. I want you guys to get the most out of it, so feel free to do that. All right, so let's talk about the first thing. What do? You went through pre-licensing school, you've passed the class exam, it's time to take your state test, you're nervous, you passed the state exam, boom, you have arrived, you've done it, you now have your real estate license. And it's a big relief, but it just creates even more anxiety for you, because now what do you do next? So the first thing that I recommend any agent do, and most agents typically do before they even get past the licensing point, is they kind of do some research on different brokerages. Well, I'll call them today even teamerages, because they're taking over the place of brokerages, to see what they think they're going to want to be a part of when they do get licensed. So now that it's real, now it's time to really start having some conversations with brokers and discovering where you want to be as a broker when it comes to selling real estate and being associated with the firm. So how do you choose a great broker? What does that mean? The one thing that I would definitely recommend is every broker you interview at least three. And the reason I say that is because you're going to hear things that are interesting, and you're going to be able to compare based off of each broker's presentation and what each broker has to offer. Here's the reality, folks. Brokers are brokers. A brokerage, if you will, is simply a platform to support your sales business. So regardless of where you go, your success is going to depend a lot on you. Commissions don't matter. And the reason I say that is because if you go to one broker and they're offering you a 95% commission versus another broker who's only offering you a 60% commission, in theory, the 95% commission brokerage is the place to go. But as a new agent, what does it matter if you're not selling any houses, how much your commission is? Whereas if you go to the 60% brokerage and they have training, they have development, they have a culture that you really like, and you have the ability to and the potential to sell more houses, it's probably worth putting more effort and putting more research into that brokerage that may cost a little more. But they say you get what you pay for, and that saying can't be more true than when it comes to choosing a brokerage, especially if you're choosing one on commission alone. Now, commission is important, don't get me wrong, but it's not the end all be all. It shouldn't be the only thing that you're considering. So once you choose the broker, and one of the stipulations, of course, is if you're choosing the broker and you ask them what they're going to do as part of their onboarding process, and it doesn't include the next bullet, which is helping you join the local board, the Association of Realtors, then I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but I would at least ask it what assistance they can provide. It's not a difficult process, but if you're a brand new broker, then you may not know what to do. And so you're going to need some guidance on that, as well as how to onboard through their system and in their brokerage. So we got all that figured out. Now the broker should be, or there should be a coach at the brokerage that you decide to join. A lot of times the broker of record, the broker in charge, is the coach, is the mentor, but there should be someone to help you get started. And the first thing you need to do when it comes to business or setting up your business is go ahead and start brainstorming what your schedule is going to be. And this is probably the overarching, the common denominator of the successful, highly successful agents versus those that are mediocre. Highly successful agents have schedules and they're consistent with their schedules. So it pays a lot to start a schedule day one. It doesn't have to be like 100% day one, but to have at least some sort of a blueprint of what you intend to do in your business and earmark time off during the week of what you intend to do to get business and to do business and to transact. So go ahead and start working on that. And then you can get with your mentor, your broker, and kind of figure out from them, am I devoting enough time to marketing? Am I devoting enough time to follow up? Am I devoting enough time to training? That sort of thing. And when things come up, you already have a place in your schedule to fit them instead of just constantly jumping all over the place, trying to jump on a training or trying to go work with a new client or trying to put some time into working on your website. It's already predestined. It's already pre-scheduled because you have a schedule, you have a calendar. One of my mentors says that if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. And that's so true. I'm almost embarrassed to show my calendar because it's always flooded with stuff. But the reason why is I'm not any busier today than I was a year ago. It's just that I'm more disciplined at putting everything that I can in my calendar. And also a lot of other people that depend on my schedule because they need to meet with me or I need to meet with them. I want them to be able to see where the holes are, where we can get an opportunity to meet with one another. All right, so get organized. And this is from a business side and a personal side. You can't be successful in business if your personal life is a hot mess. So what I would suggest doing is starting with your personal stuff. Get your personal affairs in order. Make sure your house is taken care of. Make sure you have a plan for who's going to keep Fido if you have to run out and go show a house. Have a plan for childcare. And I'm seeing a lot of people that are getting into real estate as a side business or like they're doing it part-time to start with. So how does that play out with your full-time employer? Have you had that conversation with them of, hey, I'm getting my real estate license? Or are you one of those secret agents that's saying, I'm going to get my license, or I'll see if I get my license and I'll see where it goes. And if it works out, then I'll let my boss know. Big mistake, big mistake. And the reason I say that is because it's not going to go well, because what you're doing, it's almost like, and I hate to use this analogy, but it's like It's almost like having an affair. You always got to like cover up your tracks not to get caught into something. And it's better if you have a boss and you have a job that you really love, they're going to support that, and they're going to do what they can to make sure that they can accommodate this goal that you have. So that number, and it's probably for selfish reasons, but they want to make sure that you're doing your job, your day job as well. So have that conversation with them early on and let them know you know, if you don't have any intentions in getting into real estate full time, that's fine. But if you do, let them know and give them 110% until that day comes, because they're going to support you. And guess what? They'll probably become one of your first clients. So anyways, get your personal life in order. Make sure everything you can automate is automated. So that's bill paying, that's, you know, hell, you can order groceries to be delivered to your house now. I love 2022. Knowing, you know, how often you need to get your car serviced. You may have to modify that because you're probably going to be driving a lot more. Those sorts of things. Already have a plan in place. Don't figure out everything as it comes. The next thing, and again, this goes back to the brokerage that you affiliate with, but you want to have a business email. So whether that's going to be assigned to you by the broker or you're going to create one, I would highly recommend that you create one from the start. And this can be kind of what I call a cover email. It doesn't have to be where you have to create a brand new email. It could be an email that feeds to your primary email so that when it comes to advertising, you don't have to tell people, hey, you could just email me at sexylexi96.com@gmail.com. Totally not professional. So if the broker provides one, most do. So, you know, ours is, you know, mine is edric@boldfayetteville.com. That has become my main. My goal is to point it to my personal email, but I've decided that my business email is my personal email. And so I forwarded my personal emails to my business email so I can be in one place. So think of those things. If the broker isn't going to supply you with one, go ahead and look at, you know, what's going to play off well. And I would recommend spending a little bit of extra money to not have the email provider in that email. I think it just looks better if you're Edric at, you know, Edric Sells Homes at realestate.com, and as opposed to Edric Sells Homes at gmail.com. And there's a lot of sub names that you can have like that, that they come at a fee, but it's nominal. Now, again, we're in 2022, so this is probably a newer thing. It's more prevalent than ever. But as you're preparing yourself, as you're getting organized, one of the things that you need to do as well is you need to go ahead and earmark some dedicated space at home for your workspace if you haven't done so already. And that's solely for real estate. That's solely for when you do real estate. It shouldn't be, you know, I do my sewing projects here, and I also write contracts. It needs to be completely dedicated to that. And if possible, and you have the accommodations, it needs to be a room where you can shut a door. And the reason I say that is, again, it's very difficult to be consistent if you're on your laptop at the kitchen table, or you're on your laptop on the sofa watching, you know, Desperate Housewives. What you want to do is you want to discipline yourself that whenever you do something real estate, you have to go into this dedicated space when you're at home. Otherwise, you have to go in the office, and that helps you follow your schedule. So no matter where you are, you can follow your schedule. You don't have to necessarily be at your office, or your away from home office, so to speak. You can work from your home office and follow your schedule from there. All right, good stuff. I'm taking mental notes here myself. All right, so we've gotten everything lined up. We've signed up with a broker. We've learned as much as we can about the culture. We've gotten our personal life in order. We're ready to sell some real estate. How do we get some clients, right? Well, that comes with time, but some things you can do to start preparing for clients is on this slide. So it's funny because this first bullet, creating business cards, right? that's probably one of the first things new agents ask me, where should I order my business cards from? And they skip all the other stuff that I just talked about, or they let that kind of happen naturally. All they're focused about is how pretty are their business cards going to be. What I would encourage you to do is to think about your business card is a reflection of you. So how can you creatively present yourself, and what what avenue do you want to do that in? And so again, in this tech age that we live in, a physical business card might not be the best answer. I've seen a lot of creative ways for people to network and to pass off their contact information. One of my favorites, and one of the ways that I pass off a business card, is I created an electronic business card using a site called Blink. That's BLINQ. And that allows me to create this digital business card. It has a QR code, and when somebody scans it, it uploads all of my contact information, all my social media, everything they need to know about me in their contacts. They don't have to type anything in. And here's the thing. If you give me a business card, more than likely, I'm probably going to throw it away. Or when I need the business card, I'm not going to be able to find it, because I'm probably not buying a house today. But 3 months from now, when I decide to buy a house, I'm going to be like, I don't remember where that business card is. So my recommendation is to do something that is going to stay attached. And of course, no one's going to throw away their phone, and that's where your business card lives. Another interesting tip: make sure you title your name in your personal contacts with an emoji. And I use the little house emoji. And the reason I say that is because when you open your contacts, they're usually organized in alphabetical order. When you have an emoji in front of your name, that's not a part of the alphabet, so that automatically shoots to the top of people's contacts. And so it may be good for your name to be house emoji, realtor, Edric is the first name, last name Williams. And then that way, if somebody says, gosh, what was that guy's name that I met 4 months ago? It's already in their contacts. I'm already at the top, and it's already, and visually they can see that this contact is different from every other contact that's in their database. All right, develop your social media. Most people are on social media. If you're not on social media, that's another training session that we definitely will have in the future, and you definitely need to participate in. But if you do have social media, now's the time to figure out what you want your social media to look like in way of real estate. One common mistake that I see a lot of agents make is they immediately jump into, I'm going to create a brand new social media presence just for real estate. And the reason I say this is a mistake is because it's already difficult to manage your personal social media. So as a solo agent, it may not be the best thing for you to immediately jump into creating, say, a business page, for example. It may be better for you to grow your personal social media and to try to integrate your new career in real estate into your personal social media. But that's going to require some soul searching. So what you need to do is you need to look over your social media, see if it's something that you as a viewer would appreciate. And don't get me wrong, people want 3D people. They don't want to deal with, goody two shoes. But if the only thing you do is put your 2 cents in on politics and religion, and you're either it's either black or white with you, and you're not a well-rounded person, then that might need to stay personal. But if you like to go camping and you like to vacation and you have a crazy, batshit crazy family just like everybody else, and you capture those things on social media, that is the perfect type of social media you want to use for your real estate, because clients can find commonality in your personality, and buyers and sellers want to work with real people, not real estate avatars. Tyler, if you don't mind, can you unmute? I'm interested in knowing, because people have different perspectives on it, but what's your perspective on personal social media versus business social media versus just having it all the same?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I think that I've always wanted to keep everything separate. It was kind of hard for me to, I guess, be as transparent because I was, whenever I first started in 2015, I was wanting to keep everything as separate as possible because I didn't want my personal life to be part of my professional life. So it
Right.
was kind of hard for me because I was a very private person. I still am. I still try to work through that. But as far as separate pages, a business page and your personal page, absolutely, because you can do stuff with your personal pages that you can't with your business pages. You can do certain things like boost your post or sponsor ads, whatever it is that you want to do. So I definitely am glad that I have my business page. But what I was trying to do was kind of keep everything separate and not allow my clients on my personal page. But whenever I started allowing that, I realized how much easier it was to kind of keep up with everybody. And like you were saying earlier, the commonality, they could actually see that I was a real person and I wasn't just some salesy real estate guy, which I need to get better at posting on social media, but definitely being able to cut that or bring down that wall of being able to just let yourself
Be who
be
you are.
and
Yeah.
professional together.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because, as the dichotomy of it is, as your career progresses, you get more comfortable with what you're going to put out there versus what you're not. When you're first starting out, you're like, oh my God, I don't want everybody in my business. And so I'm going to do this separately. Now, what you're talking about having a business page and that sort of thing, absolutely, that's something that you should do, but that's more of a tech thing. That's more of a social media thing that we'll talk about in another session. A brand new agent, however, I think it's overwhelming and they do themselves a disservice because they try to do that day one and they don't have enough content or they don't have enough ideas to actually put stuff out there. So what do? They just post a bunch of houses on their business page and you lose your followership before you even gain it. So my advice is to don't do that necessarily day one. Have a plan for it as you progress into the next phase of your career. But day one, focus on, okay, like Tyler said, am I ready to really reveal who I am all the way around, and can I use this page? Here's the thing: people are going to judge you regardless of whether you want them to or not. So there's no way to get past that. If I see Tyler's business page, I'm gonna look for Tyler's personal page anyway and see if I can sneak in and friend him to really get in his business. However, what I won't be able to find out on his business page is what he likes to do for fun. What's his family life like? Whatever he likes to post on his personal page, um, I think you need to see that. But when it gets to a point where you feel like a lot of things that you're going to post could be insulting or they could offend someone, then maybe consider, okay, I'm just a very, you know, I'm a very outgoing person, but I'm a very vocal person. So I'm just not going to share that. I'm not going to make this a part of my business, especially in this day and age where we're in cancel culture. So something to think about. I haven't really seen many, even the most extreme pages that I've seen. I've never seen anyone in real estate or outside of real estate where I've been so offended that I would be like, if they were a realtor, I wouldn't buy a house from them. Because if they're that offensive, I'm gonna drop them anyways. I'm gonna block them. So they're not gonna be able to sell real estate anyways. Most people we judge ourselves probably a lot stronger than what we should when it gives us the character that the client base is looking for. Thanks for sharing, Tyler. So once you figure that part out, attending professional networking events is going to be key in learning who's who and what's what in the industry. There are so many different things, and through social media, you can figure out what they are, but you need to put your face in as many places as possible on the professional side. So if there is a mortgage company is throwing a seminar, you should try to be there. And we're just coming out of this pandemic. So that's great because companies and professionals are starting to throw live events more. But if you can't be there in person, jump on their Zoom if they're having a Zoom webinar or whatnot, or a networking event. Consider joining a local BNI, a business networking group where, and basically this is a conglomerate of different professions. They usually choose one or two professionals in each category, and then they refer business to each other within this network. That's a great way as a brand new real estate agent to be able to, number one, not only meet the people that you're going to need to refer out to your clients, but to also potentially get some business and to learn different things about how you can better your business, because small businesses all need the same type of things like accounting and legal assistance and insurance and so on and so forth. So this is like a way to fast track it without having to figure it all out on your own. Aside from professional networking events, I would recommend just attend events in general. So if it's a nonprofit, if it's someone's birthday party, if it's someone's wedding, don't turn those events down. Go to those events, because the more that you're seen in spaces, the more comfortable that people become with you. And that also it gives you the opportunity to have those conversations that, what I call it, almost low-key prospecting. You know, I'm not going to go to a wedding and say, hey, congratulations on your wedding. You guys want to buy a house now? No. Congratulations on your wedding. What's the plan? Where are you guys going to settle down? You know, where are you going for your honeymoon? Making that small talk, because what you want your network to find out about you is that, of course, you're a person, again, well-rounded, that happens to be a realtor, not a realtor that happens to be a person. People kind of, you know, it's that used car salesman mentality. Most of us, you know, to guard ourselves, if you go to a car lot, you already have like this wall built up because you don't want to be sold. But if you had an opportunity to meet that car salesman and figure out who they are outside of the dealership world, you probably find some commonalities there. And you'd probably be more likely to buy a car from them when the time comes to buy a car. So this one's really important. Not only do you ask your friends and family for recommendations, but you also follow up on those. So the number one thing to do is, when you're in your organizational stage, is if your contacts aren't organized, get them organized. And then I call it a hit list. You need to write down the top 50 people that would die for you. And there are those many people. I know people say, I don't know that many people. It may take a while, but what I mean by that is you need to find your top 50 fans, and that is your source of business. That's where you start at. We typically skip in real estate and think we have to go out here and sell real estate to strangers, when indeed everything we need is right here on our phone, our contacts. So go through it, start to favorite your contacts based off of the fact that you know that they're a ride or die, they'll do anything for you, they'll show up wherever you need them to show up. And you'll do the same for them, because it's a lot easier. I don't have to prospect my best friend. I don't have to prospect even an acquaintance that I enjoy hanging out with. All I got to do is hang out with them. All I got to do is make phone calls and see how they're doing, what's going on in their life, how's their kid doing in 6th grade, that sort of thing. And I remember those things because if they're a friend or family, I know about their whole life. And what this does is, number one, it helps you build up referral business really quickly. And here's the thing, top producers are top producers because they have a very strong referral base. They don't have to market. They don't have to spend a dime on marketing. People call them to do business. So when you get better at doing that, something that we naturally do anyways, talk with our friends and family, it's going to exercise that muscle. So when you roll new people, new clients into that database, it's super simple to follow up with them and to check in with them. It doesn't become a chore. And let me tell you, I hate cold calling, and the day will never come where I love it. I wish I could get good at it, but that's just not who I am. I much prefer to deal with someone that I already know and that already knows me, or get to build some sort of relationship with them. So, and that's probably the truth for, I would say, at least 90% of agents, probably salespeople in general. It's much easier for me to sell a house with someone that I know is not going to reject me than it is for me to try to see if someone will buy a house from me that may reject me. So something to consider. All right. Business plan, setting goals. This is part of scheduling. So part of your schedule needs to be on Monday at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I'm going to create, develop, and revise my business plan. This is a live document, if you will. So it's gonna start off as maybe like a rough draft or outline, and it's gonna slowly develop into what you want it to be based off of what your goals become. And it'll probably take you about 6 months to a year to figure out what that is. In your business plan, you need to know, what are my goals for my first year in sales? Who are my target clients? What is my plan to get those clients? How many events am I going to go to and what type of events? I'm going to do at least one nonprofit event once a quarter or once a month. I'm going to do at least one personal event every 2 weeks. So I'm going to go to somebody's wedding. I'm going to wedding crash some strangers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go to somebody's wedding, funeral, birthday party, housewarming. I know, yeah, housewarming. They bought a house from another agent and you're going to the housewarming. Yes, because their friends are going to be there. Networking. I'm going to do that as part of my business plan. I'm going to interview business accountants. I'm going to find out who the area real estate attorneys are, who the area lenders are, what they have to offer, all those things. And then I'm going to do it during, in this part of my schedule. So that kind of covers who your target clients are. There's a lot of niches in real estate. And here's another common pain point that I see that new agents face. And it's that they spread themselves too thin. And what ends up happening is they're trying to do all sorts of real estate and they never get good at anything. And so they never build that momentum and they exhaust themselves out of real estate. So figure out what is your target audience? What is your target niche? It doesn't have to be complicated because one niche can open itself to subcategories. So if your target niche your first year is to build a buyer business to work with buyers, which is common for new agents, then I'm going to start with that. And in the first 6 months, I want to sell at least 3 homes. Now, if that's your goal, then how do I get to those 3 homes? How do I find those relationships? How do I build those relationships? And then work your way from there. Now, a sub niche of that or a subcategory of that is not only am I going to work with buyers, but my plan is to work with first-time buyers only. So what do you have to do to work with first-time buyers only? You need to find value in how you can help first-time home buyers. You need to figure out what products are out there, what first-time home buyer grants are out there for down payment assistance, what price point by doing your research in the MLS. On average, what's the median price point first-time buyers are buying? What are their pain points? What issues do they have? And here's a great way to do it through your social media. Post a video and say, hey, are you a first-time buyer? Or have you recently purchased a home for the first time? What were the things that you loved about the process? What were the things that you hated? It's free R&D, free marketing development, research and development, right? So you get to find out what the pain points are, and then you can add value by sharing, by improving yourself and sharing that experience and that value to your potential buyers. You got to know your market. So doing a market analysis of your market is crucial. Knowing what average price points are, what sounds right versus what doesn't as an average price per square foot, how much new construction is available in your area, what the absorption rates are, like, how much inventory there is. Those are things that as time goes by, you become more knowledgeable about, but you need to have some sort of idea of what your inventory is. You wouldn't open a store, say a convenience store, and not know what products are in the store. Because if you don't know what products are in the store, How do you know when to reorder when you get low on what you're selling? Same goes with real estate. If you don't know what it is you're selling, then it's really hard. You don't have to be an expert at it, but you do need to become knowledgeable. And then your marketing strategy. So when it comes to marketing strategy, I feel like less is more. Don't think about what can I throw money at and see if something sticks, right? You need to look at what can I do consistently. If I didn't sell one house and I can do it every single month for at least 1 year, and if I don't get one client out of it, I'm going to be committed to it and I'm going to do it. So low cost or no cost items are going to be your most important things. Social media is free. It's free marketing. So what's your plan to market through social media? That's like a non-negotiable. If you're not going to market on social media, then just don't even be in real estate is my advice. You can't be a secret agent, as they say. But when it comes time to spending money, do you want to buy internet leads? Do you want to do direct farming to neighborhoods? Do you want to host events? What does that look like? What does that budget look like? And how many houses do you have to sell so that the business pays that budget, as opposed to you constantly writing checks for your business? It's going to take some investment out of your pocket, but you don't want to do that over the long term. You want the business to pay for itself. So think about that in your strategy. And that's part of, again, going back, part of your schedule. So I'm going to go over my marketing strategy. I'm going to create, develop, and revise my marketing strategy on Wednesdays from 9 to 10 and stay committed to it. So if somebody says, hey, let's go drink beer on Wednesday from 9 to 10, because I'd be that guy that wants to go drinking on Wednesday morning, don't do it, because that's when you're going to go over your marketing strategy and you're going to do your business planning for that. All right, so next, we got all these pieces put into place. We have it all written down. And if I haven't emphasized it, this isn't just brainstorming. You physically have to take a pen or a keyboard and you have to write this stuff down, and you have to have it where you can access it easily. So when it comes time in your work schedule to work on it, you can refer back to it and you can develop and revise it as you need to. So make sure you do that. But we've done all those things. So now it's time to set up our sales team, if you will. There are some things that you need. So as I mentioned before, if you don't have a coach or a mentor, then you need to get one. If the broker is not that person, because not all brokers are mentors or coaches, some of them are business managers, then you need to find a mentor or coach. And that can be someone that's been in real estate longer than you, that's doing some things that you aspire to do, give value for value. So in that case, I would go to them and say, hey, listen, would you mentor me for 6 months and show me, what you do, what your scripts are for working with buyers? Can I tag along with you on showings? In exchange for, here's what I'll do for you. I'm going to bring you Starbucks every Tuesday morning and do it without fail. Or I'm going to buy you lunch. Or I'm going to, if money's tight, I'm going to go put up your for sale signs for you. I'm going to become like your intern or your apprentice. So I'm going to provide value for you in exchange for you providing value for me. It's a win-win situation. You get to learn, they get the help, because they're probably at a point in their career where they need the help, but can't quite maybe afford the assistance, or aren't clear on the fact that they need to hire an assistant. So it's a great situation, and you grow a lot faster. You don't have to learn by, trial by fire. You get to learn based off of what someone has done or is doing. On top of that, you need an accountability partner. And notice I didn't make the coach, mentor, and the accountability partner the same people. That's too much pressure to put on one person. And if you're not paying me, I'm not going to coach and mentor you and hold you accountable to my coaching and mentoring. Sure, you could be a fly on the wall, but I'm not going to say, did you do what I told you to do last week? No, I'm going to say, this is what you do. Do it if you want to or not. An accountability partner is more like a peer in the business, someone that's at the same place that you are, and they want to grow just as much as you want to do. You want to grow, because there's going to be times where you're going to want to give up. There's going to be times where you're going to get discouraged, and it's going to be important for there to be someone that's in the same position that you are currently, that can pull you up and that you're there for, so you can pull them up when they get in that position. So those need to be two different people. The next one I have is financial planner. You'll notice I didn't say accountant, because an accountant is just that, they account for dollars, but they don't necessarily help plan your finances. And this may not be a day one thing where you can afford necessarily a financial planner, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a CPA, but it needs to be someone you know and trust, or can trust, that can help give you some insight on, when these commission dollars start coming in, what do I do with them? How do I make sure that I'm set up for success with the resources I get today, tomorrow? So the best place to start is free, online. Go to YouTube, type in financial planning for small business owners. See what people are saying and some things that you have to do. Become your own financial planner and learn what questions you need to ask. So when you get to a point where you're actually hiring someone, a professional, to do it, you know what questions to ask, and you know what sounds right versus wrong when it comes to the rates they charge or the suggestions that they have, and so on and so forth. These three things alone are going to help you. Not only, we talked about how you can get the business, this is going to help you maintain and create that consistency and keep moving forward, so you don't hit that brick wall, or you don't go broke selling real estate because you're making so much money but you're not tracking any of it, or you had a great last month, but what happens the next 90 days ahead? You have the pieces in place to make sure that this business is consistent, because when you first start, you are the business, you are everything. You're the secretary, you're the marketing director, you're the sales manager, you're the janitor, and everything else in between. So you are going to have to outsource some things. I call it, these are your bosses pretty much. They're the ones that's holding you accountable in different categories. So Tyler, do you got a coach?
I don't have one that I've hired. I just basically use you for anything that I need.
That's okay. That's okay. But here's the thing. I don't have a hired coach either. There's people that I consider mentors, but I haven't hired a coach. And I'm going to be honest, it's because I'm cheap. I'm like, I have that mentality of, oh, I know it all. I've already made all my mistakes. So I don't need to pay somebody to tell me what I need to do, especially with the network that we have through EXP. It's like, I can call somebody that sold, 600 homes last year and ask a question for free, but I do need a coach. Here's what I am doing when it comes to coaching now. That's still free. I like Tom Ferry. I love his coaching. I just listen to his podcast. They cost me $0. I get to absorb that information on my way to the office every morning and on the way home. And it's much better use of my time than listening to radio porn, right? Listening to what's his name? I can't remember his name, but Foxy 99. He's very controversial, but sometimes I'll sneak in and listen to who he's talking about. The God, I can't remember his name. But anyways, he'll say some things, some off the wall things, but that's not helping me at all in my business. So I'm listening to his podcast pretty much every morning if I'm going to the office, and that's free. Now, eventually what I'll do is I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to actually hire his company, and I'm going to, hire a coach from Tom Ferry. But the next step for me is to actually go to a live Tom Ferry event. So I'm not going to just jump into that coaching. So definitely, and I'm sure you do that. I'm sure there's times when you just pop on YouTube and you might listen to a video or something, or there's something that somebody or a certain personality that resonates with you that you follow. That's a coach. That's fine. Just become religious about it. Like, be consistent about it. Put it in your schedule. On this day of the week, I'm going to participate in some sort of coaching exercise. So, guys, that's a lot. I know that's like drinking through a fire hose. It sounds probably uncomplicated because it's not complicated, but the reality is, through my coaching this morning, I learned that the top 25% of agents sell 83% of the real estate. So that leaves 75% of people who are in the real estate business that are fighting over 25% of the business. And I thought about it. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And it gets worse as you go up, because I think like the top 10% are selling somewhere along the lines of like 28% or 27%. So the competition is not in the 75%. Your competition is in the top 25%. How do I get in the top 25%? And what hit me was that a lot of agents aren't reaching the level of success that they want to because they've complicated real estate. They think that people who are producing at a high level are doing it because their business is complicated. The reality is, and one thing that I've learned over just observing other business owners, other real estate agents, is typically their sales business is uncomplicated. It's so uncomplicated, it's boring. They and in a nutshell, they treat it like a business. It's not a social center. It's not where they go make friends. It's not where they go look at houses because they like looking at pretty houses. It's literally, they run it like a business. They follow a schedule and they have goals like we talked about, and they're held accountable to those goals, and they do it every day. The one thing I didn't mention in this presentation, because this is, if you do it right, it is going to wear you out and it is going to be boring. So you're going to have an outlet, is you need to devote some time to yourself. So I'm a big believer in get your weekends back as soon as possible. As a new agent, that's easier said than done, but that should be one of your goals. If you like weekends, you might not like weekends. I love weekends to myself. So I typically don't work on the weekends. If I do, I work on Saturdays, but it's typically not with people. I need a break from people on Saturdays. So that's the day that I really focus on my business, instead of in my business and in preparation and that sort of thing. But Sundays, I'm lost. I try to lose myself. I try to lose society and all of that. So my recommendation for you is, starting out, is if you can't devote a day to it, and I'm not talking about you take a day off of real estate so you can go work another job. I'm talking you take some time off, but if you can't devote a whole day to it, devote some hours to it. So 4 hours on Sunday morning, I'm not doing real estate. I'm not checking my phone. I'm not following up. I'm not checking email. I'm just going to devote it to the things that are important to me. And that may be, I want to go and do breakfast with my family on Sunday mornings, or I want to read a book that I really enjoy reading. Not a real estate book, but a book that's actually entertaining to you. And so what that's going to do is help you create balance so that you're not overwhelmed by real estate, or even worse, you become addicted to real estate. You don't want to do that, because that's, you're going to create some success out of that, but you're going to lose yourself in this business, which is really easy to do. So anyways, that summarizes what it takes and what you should focus on in your first 30 days. But guys, this isn't the first 30 days. There's a lot of things that we all, including myself, need to improve on through these steps, and you need to revisit so that you can make sure you're maximizing your potential in your business. And this is just one of many series that we're going to release through our mastermind series. So stay tuned. We usually post our classes on our social media, through our Bold social media, as well as I always post it on my personal. So if you're not following me, make sure you are at Edric, EDRIC.Williams. It's my first name, last name. And look out for the next session that we have. I'm excited, and I appreciate you guys attending for today. Until next time, happy selling.